Greetings, fellow RotoBallers. My name is Joey Christopoulos at Joey Sports Guy. David Rispoli at Tutty Guy is my co-host. This is Week 6's Boom and Bust, where we find some guys that we think, maybe they're already in your lineup, but we think they're going to have a huge week, or maybe guys that are outside the top 10 that are going to jump into the top 10, and maybe some studs that you have to put in your lineup, but we're just trying to cathartically prepare you for them to maybe not get up to your expectations and maybe disappoint a little bit in Week 6. Dave, man, let's dive right into it. I'm going to go with my first boom of the week. It's Deontay Johnson on the Steelers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Bunch of reasons. One, we found out the news. We're taping on a Monday that Juju Smith-Schuster's out for 4 months. And on top of that, Deontay Johnson, best receiver on the Steelers, averaging 9.25 targets a game. He's averaging 90.6 yards over his last 3. He's got 20 receptions in that span. And look, Seattle just played a Rams team. Robert Woods put up 150 against them. They've allowed 4 100 receiving yards games to 4 different wide receivers. Give me Deontay Johnson. He's already going to be in lineups, but I think he can put up wide receiver 1 numbers, maybe even get in the top 10 this week. Give me Deontay Johnson.
I love the call, Joe, especially coming off a 2-target game. I think maybe some people are looking at that and thinking maybe his arrow is pointing down. It was a huge Claypool game. There was a lot of weird stuff going on in that game. He still caught a 50-yard bomb tutty from Big Ben, and I still think he's the true number 1 in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go ahead and give you my boom. I kind of got one boom and one guy you can maybe stream in the same game, both running backs. On one side, I like Darrell Henderson in the Rams versus the Giants this week.
Love that.
Hendo's a guy who very quietly has been putting up a top 6 running back fantasy season. He's being used like old school Todd Gurley. Last week, you're saying, oh yeah, but we're seeing a lot of Sony Michel. He was banged up in that game, so he did get 1 tutty vultured, but then came back into the game after he gave us all a heart attack. We thought he was done for the game, came back in the game and scored and put up another 25 yards. I love what I'm seeing out of Darrell Henderson. And I just think, playing against the Giants, we don't know exactly. We're filming this on a Monday. I just want to say that now. They could be without Daniel Jones.
On the Giants? Who's on the Giants?
Daniel Jones, Sterling Shepard, Slayton, Barkley. We don't know. So my guess is in this game, the Rams aren't going to have to throw it 50 times. They're going to get up early, and they're going to be putting it in Darrell Henderson's belly. Now, on the other side of that, Barkley is probably most likely ruled out at this point. I don't know what the ankle diagnosis is, but Devontae Booker, when he stepped in, played 87% of the snaps. That is the most of any running back in the NFL in week 5. And he got 3 carries inside the 5-yard line, which only Antonio Gibson could say. So when Barkley is out, we do have the data that tells us that they're going to use Devontae Booker early and often. I like him as a streaming option. Joe, who's your last boom of the week?
Well, just real quick, in the land of fantasy, it's not necessarily running back rich, right? So Devontae Booker right there is a great call.
It'll be a hot pickup.
Yeah, the Giants, they've allowed back-to-back 100-yard rushing games the last 2 weeks as well. So Henderson's upside is right there. My final boom of the week is, the guy's got 6 interceptions. His football team is under 500 right now. And look, we hear from people, comments and questions below. We're happy to have them all the time, but people are really worried about Patrick Mahomes. And Dave, let me just tell you a little something about Patrick Mahomes. He's my boom this week. You want to know why he's my boom this week? Look, the guy's still on pace for 52 touchdowns this season. His name is Patrick Mahomes. He's on pace for 4,800 passing yards. His name is Patrick Mahomes. He plays the Washington football team. They've allowed 12 touchdowns over their last 3 games. His name is Patrick Mahomes. And my final one is Washington football team allowing over 30 fantasy points a game to their last 4 quarterbacks that they have faced. His name is Patrick Mahomes. You're starting him in your lineups, but I think he's getting 4 or 5 touchdowns next week. I'm saying huge game. I'm saying league winner. I'm saying all that good stuff. Give me Patrick Mahomes.
What's his name?
Hold on. Let me look at my notes.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes.
I'll say this. I love the call, Joe. I love the call. This is how good Patrick Mahomes is last week he's scoring 22 fantasy points for people, and they're disappointed. It happens in my leagues. It happens in the comments. I get it, people. I get it. But your expectations are so high because he is that good. He still threw 2 tutties. He still ran for 61 yards. If Ryan Tannehill did that, I'd buy him dinner. I wish he would do that for my teams right now. Patrick Mahomes is absolutely a boom this week. Now we move on to our bust, Joe.
If he did that, he's getting gift certificates to Cheesecake Factory. I mean, I'm setting this guy up.
He can pick anything on any 26 of those pages of that menu. Who's your bust this week, Joe? Who's top of your list?
My bust is a gentleman who's been on our boom. He's been on our start sits, QB start sits as well. I'm going Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins versus Carolina. Look, I think the Kirk Cousins heater has cooled. I think it's kind of over for right now. Now, I'm not saying don't start Justin Jefferson. I think he's a start every single week because even if Kirk Cousins is bad, Jefferson can still find the end zone. I just don't really like where it's all trending right now. Adam Thielen, without a touchdown, my friend, you're not very fantasy viable. He's averaging over 43.75 yards a game over his last 4 played. The touchdowns have kind of dried up a little bit. And the Panthers, they've been really tough on opposing wide receivers this year. We said Kirk Cousins was going to be a boom last week against the Lions. He did not boom. He disappointed. Now he gets an even tougher matchup against what I think is a legit Carolina defense. I'm just saying no. Carolina allowing all 166 passing yards a game over the last 4 quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, I'm saying bust. I don't think they put up the numbers that you want to see.
I love the call, Joe. Look, I just don't trust Kirk Cousins right now, just the way he's looking, using my own 2 eyes, my 20/20 vision, my new contacts. I think early in the season, we all got really enamored with Kirk Cousins, and that was because of the schedule. And now we're starting to see the Kirk Cousins we all know and love. And let's face it, the Vikings are a run first, run second team.
And he goes on a heater once a year, Dave. We've seen it every single year that we've done the check down. Every single year we've been on RotoBaller. He goes through a heater. It just came a little bit earlier this year. I think he cools off. Can he find it again? Sure. I just think we're entering the winter phase of Kirk Cousins' passing career.
Winter is coming. I love the call. He was one of our booms last week, Joe, but our other booms really boomed. And the thing is, our bus also boomed. That's the kind of show we are. Like, literally, if we talk about a player, boom or bust, they will boom. And that is why, Joe,
I'm going to love this bust then. I think I'm going to love this bust.
And that is why I'm putting this player as a bust in hopes I will give him the good old-fashioned check down reverse jinx. It's Allen Robinson of our beloved Bears. Yeah, it's Allen Robinson of our beloved Bears going against Green Bay. Joe, you know that gif of Mr. Rogers putting on the clown mask? That's me every week starting Allen Robinson, thinking this is the week he gets back to old 10 target Allen Robinson. Here's a stat that should really hurt your heart, Joey. Courtesy of JJ Zacharyson on Twitter. Week 5, Kadarius Toney had 189 yards in that game. Allen Robinson on the season, 181 yards.
Yeah.
He is not even a wide receiver 3 right now. He is straight bench material. And I think this week, and until he proves it, he should remain on your bench. Allen Robinson's a guy that's going to have to blow up my bench, maybe even 2 weeks in a row before he enters my starting lineup.
Dave, I can't argue with the call. I will say I saw some glimpses of chemistry between him and Justin Fields in this game, but again, only 4 targets in that game. Yeah, Allen Robinson right now is basically like that Uber Eats driver, and you're looking at it and you're like, man, he's been in the same location for 20 minutes now. Where is my food? He's literally a block away from me, and he's not moving. What do I do?
The car's just spinning. You're like, what is it doing?
Oh, donuts. Cool. I mean, I want the donuts, not for his car to do them. That'd be really sweet. I'm right there with you. He does have a matchup against Tampa Bay in Week 7. Maybe he can bust loose them, but for this week, I'm with you. I think he's benchable territory, not just bust potential. My final one, Seattle running backs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's my
whoever starts, really.
Look, I know what happened on Tuesday night. We all hopped in our car. We ran through red lights. We sprinted through an airport like Tom Cruise to pick up Alex Collins. He came out and got 57 yards. Even if Chris Carson is back in the lineup, I don't like either of those guys right now. Steelers have not allowed a touchdown to a running back, period. End of sentence. No rushing, no receiving. The highest fantasy total that they've given up is A.J. Dillon 2 weeks ago, and that was 10.2 fantasy points. That is the highest they've allowed all season. It's not a good matchup. Geno's in the lineup. I mean, DK, you got to put him in there. Tyler Lockett, I'm terrified, but I would hardcore fade their running backs right now, even though they're going to have to lean on that game. I think it's going to be a mix and match. Just not this week. Don't like that matchup. I would sit Alex Collins or whoever is the RB1 for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, they've kind of gone back to where they were 2 years ago. Last year, Chris Carson was a true workhorse. 2 years ago, we started to see all these guys. Travis Homer, DJ Dallas, Alex Collins. All of them are getting a bit of work. Alex Collins isn't getting any of the pass down work. He wasn't in the hurry up offense either, something that I could very much foresee happening in this upcoming game. I love the call, Joe. I'm sitting any of them and all of them. Joey, before we get out of here, we forgot to do it last week. Do not forget to do it this week. It's important to talk about fantasy football, but it's also important to check in with each other, bud. You know what I mean?
It's time for life boom and busts.
Yeah.
And let's check it out. Do you want to go first? Do you want to do your life boom first?
Sure. I'll go ahead and hit my life boom and my bust because they kind of fit together. My life boom right now, fall weather. It's coming in. I live in the Valley in LA. I feel like it's been only summer for 2 years straight. Felt a cool breeze, was loving it. The leaves were blowing, which brings me to my bust, and the leaves are falling on my lawn, which means I got to pick them up. I got to rake them. I got to rake all these leaves now. You know, it's a huge bummer.
The metamorphosis of life, Dave. Every emotion in one circle, constantly evolving and moving at the same time.
Who you got, Joe?
That's a great call. My life boom, I want to throw the White Sox out there, but by the time this airs and runs, hopefully they're still in the playoffs. We're taping this on a Monday. They got a Game 4 Tuesday and a Game 5 on Wednesday. White Sox is definitely a life boom for me right now. Other life boom, my decrepit, falling apart mid-30s body. Life boom this week, Dave. I sprained my shoulder about 5 or 6 days ago.
That doesn't sound like a boom. That
No,
sounds like a,
hold on.
that sounds like a pop.
This has a happy ending. This is one of those twists.
Okay.
So my decrepit body that's falling apart as each day passes and every leaf falls from the tree. Sprained my shoulder about 5 days ago. Took some time off. Didn't do anything to it. And look, sometimes you guys got to know in your mid-30s when you like sprain something, you're like, wow, this could be a couple of days or this could be a couple months. We really don't know. Exercise today, Dave. Feel pretty damn good. We'll see how it goes.
I fear for you tomorrow, but go for it, pal.
Nothing's given to me. If you see me in a sling next week, it was a bust. It didn't work out. My final bust, on a personal note, wish my wife would watch more horror movies with me, but that's her journey. I like the scary stuff. We'll get around to Hocus Pocus when we can. My major life bust, Dave, you're going to love this one. It's watching football on Zoom with your buddies.
Oof.
Life bust.
Ready for it to end, my man. Ready for it to
bless technology, but we're all trying to stay safe as we can. We're just not congregating every single moment that we get a chance to. So a lot of times we just hang it at home and kick it and hop on our Zoom. We watch the games together. Well, guess what?
Can't sync them up.
Technology can't sync them up.
Cannot sync up these Bears games, buddy.
There are no Elon Musk and a wizard and some other genius, Goodwill Hunting, they could sit in a room and they can't figure out how to sync this thing up. There's all these different streaming services. One person's streaming, off a Fire Stick. The other one's streaming off Sunday Ticket. The other one's doing DirecTV. And having us sit there and argue with each other about how to pause it perfectly on the Whoopi Goldberg commercial about migraines. You know what I'm saying? And trying to figure that out, Dave. I can't. It's a life bust. I'm just waiting for the day when we're all fully back together again. We're watching the games, just enjoying it. Because football on Zoom, bust.
Huge bust, Joe. I love it. And I want to know in the comments, let's do it. In the comments, life booms, life bust. I want to hear them. Get them going. And that's going to do it for this week's show, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me at Tutty Guy. Joe?
At Sports Guy, Joey Sports Guy. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for checking out this video right here on RotoBaller. This was the Checkdowns version of Boom Bust Week 6. We're here to help you out, here to set your lineups. Remember, questions, comments below. We're going to do everything we can to help you out, even if it's a player not mentioned in this video. Any lineup question that you have, any trade that you have, any life boom or bust, drop it down there. We're happy to answer it for you. Dave, good show, buddy. Good luck with those leaves.
Go win those leaves.
Go win those leaves.